You are by far the most excruciating, difficult, stubbornly obnoxious woman I've ever met in my entire life. I fucking love you.
How are y'all doing? First of all, I just have to say this movie is so, so, so good. You guys should be incredibly proud, both as producers, as actors, and as the awards editor at Rotten Tomatoes. I have a feeling I'm gonna be writing a lot of copy about this movie. This movie, I think for you and Marie, it might be the first time that you've actually gotten to be like angry, like, and really just yell at this gentleman for 2 weeks in a row. So talk about talk about how fun that was. And you mentioned how, like, Rue got kind of pulled out from under you and you were already in her headspace. So how did you switch to get into the headspace of Marie?
Right. Shout out to your Beyonce candle, first of all. We love to see it. Yes, I was in the headspace, geared up, ready for Rue. And with that being said, it was going to be a very difficult, very taxing season. And I had missed her so much. And when I get into Rue, I just kind of fall into her, but magically somehow, as Marie was being written, and Sam would write these pages and then he'd, read them to me and we'd talk for hours. I would record him because he just he had this cadence that I felt was perfect already, and Marie was already being found. And I think it's because it's part Sam, Marie's part Sam, but he wrote her. I mean, he wrote these characters for us, but he wrote them with, I think, he wrote it to the Zendaya, the grown woman that I'm, becoming, and he's watching, kind of become in front of his eyes. And so I think that had a lot to do with it. So it felt like she really was already just kind of forming in front of my eyes, and it was really just my job to kind of release her to a degree. And I don't know. I think as far as being angry, I'm not. It's interesting because I can argue, which is like but not in a yelly kind of way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a debater. I don't typically raise my voice or yell at anybody, and I found that difficult even with Rue when she'd have to have these screaming matches with her mother. It was extremely draining. But for some reason, when it was Marie, it felt like therapeutic, like getting it out. It didn't even drain me. It felt like empowering almost. It was just like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? It felt like something I needed to get off my chest. And I don't know if that was because I hadn't been able to act that past year. I don't know if I was just so excited to be,
Whatever you let out.
from John David, and he was just like giving me so much as an actor to work with and bounce off of. And I just was so grateful to be there, that it was just like, yeah, it was really just became a funnel to take whatever feelings I had over the past year and just push them out through this woman.
Excellent. Well, John David Washington, I have to say, you gave it as good as you got. Let's be honest. It was incredible to watch what you did on screen. But I think, like, it says it in the trailer. This isn't a love story. This is a story about love. And these are two very flawed people. So I'm just curious, do you think imperfect people can find a perfect love? Or do you think that these two should just, like, not be a couple?
What is perfect love? I mean, I find myself constantly trying to work on myself. I find like I'm constantly trying to work on myself, and I don't want my partner to have to feel that extra percent. If I'm like 60% knowing who I am, that feels better than being 50% and depending on that other 50 to make me whole. So I think they both need to work on themselves. Then maybe they can use some counseling, and we'll see. Maybe they can figure some things out because no matter good or bad, their relationship will never be the same after a night like that. It just won't. So I wish them well. I think in moments they are perfect for each other. In other moments they need some space or they need a referee. Sorry. Tell me what hurts.
Sam, you are the person I've wanted to talk to since I've seen this movie, sir. Let me tell you. But first of all, seriously, congratulations about it. It's
Thank you.
really incredible, as you already know. I mean, what's crazy about it is this basically started out of you and Zendaya playing, like, I guess, text and phone. I'm bored. What are you doing? And y'all were like, let's make a movie. And then we got this. But I'm also curious, before we talk about those conversations, what is something random that you two were sort of like BSing about before you decided to go make a movie?
Something random.
That people would be surprised that y'all be talking about.
I don't know. We kind of talk. I mean, look, especially at that time when it was like we were a day away from shooting season 2 of Euphoria. So, she was like ready to go in as Rue. It's a pretty messy season for Rue. So we were just, I don't know, we just hop on the phone and we were just kind of kicking around different things. I don't know, something random. I can't necessarily think of something off the top of my head.
Did you recommend a movie to her that maybe she was just like, ugh, about? Because I've heard that sometimes.
Oh, I'm always recommending movies to her. I was just recommending that. I was like, you need to watch To Die For. You have to watch To Die For. It's one of the greatest films of the last 30 years. It's
Yeah.
so, it's so prescient in so many different ways.
Awesome. Well, bringing it back to the movie, I just first have to say again, congratulations. I like that you took a very embarrassing moment for yourself and made it into artistic greatness. I really do hope your wife forgives you, but I'm just curious, like, did it feel weird putting such a personal thing into this? And I also want to know if it was the Sundance premiere where you forgot, because I was at that one.
I think we never had a fight about it. We only talked about it, I think, on the car ride home, and it was a pretty easy, thoughtful conversation. But it did spark in me this idea of what happens when you don't acknowledge the people in your life that you love, and what happens, particularly in filmmaking, when you're not acknowledging the contributions of each other. This was actually the first movie that she produced alongside me, and so I like that as a jumping off point. But it wasn't, this kind of the dialogue and the dynamics between the characters was more of just like a strange kind of Socratic dialogue of just Malcolm coming in drunk, just going off on things, and then Marie just slowly poking holes in it, and then back and forth going for the jugular, waking up, and I would just try to write myself into a hole every day and see if I can dig the characters out the next day.
Look at me. I'm the last person standing.
I don't care you.
Hold on to me for dear life.